So the test today will be around 12 to 15 minutes and we'll have 3 parts, okay? If you're happy, we can start.
Okay.
Thank you. I want to first talk about family, please. Tell me, do you come from a large or a small family?
Actually, I come from a quite large extended family. Beside the nuclear family or the basic family, which including my mother, my strict father, and my lovely mother, I also reside within my grandparents and also my family cousins.
Thank you. Who are you closest to in your family?
Absolutely, it's my mother because my mother always take care of my mental health and also I always sharing our story to my mother.
Do you often spend time with your family?
Yes, I always try to spend at least 1 hour a day with my family. We can do a lot of activities such as sharing a love story in our dinner or we can do some sport in the weekends. Moreover, I think that in some special occasion, my mother spent a lot of time and money for me to traveling to the abroad.
Thank you. And the final question about family. How has your relationship changed with your family over time?
In my opinion, I think that our relationship becomes stronger and more stronger in a long time because I think when I grow up, I can understand my mother and my father completely and better. And when I grow up, I have a sympathy and understand their decision in the past.
Thank you. Well done. Moving on now, let's talk about food, please. What kind of foods do you usually eat?
In Vietnamese dishes, they have a lot of ingredients in the foods. However, I always refer to have the high protein food such as chicken breast or the beef.
Really? Do you enjoy cooking?
Not exactly about. However, I think that cooking become the survival skill in this modern day. And moreover, I think that I cannot become a master in the cooking skill. However, I can cook a basic these dishes for me to survive.
Thank you. Very important. Are there any foods you disliked as a child, but now you enjoy?
I think that the chicken breast because in my childhood, when my families are poor and we don't have enough money to buy expensive food, we need to eat chicken breast to provide us a lot of vitamin and protein for us to grow up. However, in the at now I when I taste a chicken breast, it remember a lot of memories in the past and also I think that it's build the muscle very effective.
Brilliant. That's the most important thing. Finally, let's talk about your daily routine. Tell me, what's your typical day like?
I think that a typical day of my in the 6 a.m. I get up and go to study in the university. My major is the medicine, so I need to study very hardworking because the wisdom and the knowledge are so complicated that make me a lot of things to synthesis and to the key concept.
Sure. Please remember me when you're a famous doctor, okay? And finally, for part 1, tell me, is your routine different on weekends?
I think that they have exactly the days same to each other because, for example, I always hitting the gym at about 3 o'clock p.m. and always get home at 5 p.m. And I think that is a good habit for me to improve my physical status and also improve my mental health.
Thank you very much. Well done. Okay, Mr. Huang, we will now move on to part 2, please. In part 2, I will give you a question. You have 1 minute to prepare and then speak for 2 minutes, okay? The question I would like to do today is, could you describe a time when you helped someone? Okay, Huang, so when you're ready, could you please describe a time when you helped someone?
In my lifetime, I have a lot of occasion to supporting my pupils around me to help achieve this successfully. However, if I had to pick one, it would be the time I supporting my friend to achieve $10,000 scholarship to his study abroad. Firstly, I will introduce his background. He my childhood friend, a child who has had an intelligent person and a workaholic. However, he had some weakness. That's he always struggle with analyzing and synthesis the key concept to the knowledge of his subject in his school. His major in the medicine. So I offer him my supporting that in the time at the 6 to 9 p.m. I will give him some my supporting that I never providing him the answer directly, but I give him some key or included for him to study to improve his mindset and brainstorm to have the real knowledge for him to apply to the practical. I will remember to my grandparents' story. It's called the burger and the fish. It's related to the well-known item that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. However, if you give him to fish, teach him a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. As a result, I think that I remember vividly that he achieved the scholarship and graduated the final exam with the flying color. Inclusion, I think that I have a take a lesson for myself that I always need to have enough energy and time. I will supporting people with the best thing.
Thank you very much. Well done, Huang. Good job. Perfect. Now we will move on to part 3, please. And I want to continue with the topic about helping others in society. Tell me, what are some ways that people can help other members of the community?
In the past, people can provide them a food, a ring, or the cash for people to improve their lifestyle. However, when the technology develop rapidly, people can donate to the some internet platforms such as Facebook or TikTok for them to supporting them for people who live or reside in the rural area.
Interesting. Thank you. Should schools encourage students to do volunteer work?
Absolutely, yes, because that I think that when schools stimulate students to do volunteer work, student will grow up the sympathy and also the kindness, which play an important role for them to grow up in the long life. However, when students do too much volunteer work, they feel that exhausted and the meaning of the volunteer work are not the same.
Thank you. Excellent. Let's move on now to talk about motivation. Why do some people choose to help strangers?
In my opinion, I think that firstly, people who when they was a child, they were educated that they need to have a kind and have a sympathy to each other to support to each other. And secondly, that I think that people will help to each other because they need to connect to the people because we are the human being who need to connect to people and prevent the isolations.
Thank you. Wonderful. Finally, how can governments encourage citizens to support one another?
Some people think that they need to invest to the charity. However, I think that government should educate people, especially the student who belong to the primary and the secondary or high school to educate, to has knowledge to support to each other, because we are the human being who need to have a sympathy, the kindness for us to live in the societies.
Fantastic, well done. Thank you, Hoàng. That brings the test to the end. Congratulations. Yes. Fantastic. How did you find that, Hoàng? How did you find the test? Tell me.
I don't know. I think that the fluency I'm not good enough because I sometimes I have stuck. I had a struggle with the stuck.
Sure. Yeah. To be honest, your fluency actually, I would say, was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, the one thing you have is lots of ideas. So a lot of students struggle to think of the ideas to answer, but you have wonderful ideas. I think that's easy because you are a doctor. Yeah, you're very smart. There were some times where, don't be afraid, Hoàng, in the exam, just a pause for a minute, you know? When they ask you a question, you don't need to answer straight away. You can just take a minute to think, or you can say, oh, please give me a moment to think about that. And then a little pause. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Yeah. For me, overall, I was really impressed. Hoàng, of the 3 parts, part 1, 2, and 3, which do you feel most confident about? And which are you most worried about?
I think that I confident to the part 2 because I have a lot of idea and I can and about especially the tell a story.
Yes.
I has to research and has a quality story, a fable.
The fable was really interesting. Yeah.
And however, in the part 3, I think that it depends on the topic.
Yes.
Yeah. But in the first time when I taking the IELTS, they asked me about the football, which mean that I don't have any knowledge about football, so I get off.
So I hope that they will ask you about the gym next time. Yeah, amazing.
So I think that the IELTS score had depend on the luck too.
Well, I shouldn't say, but that is definitely a part to play in it, yeah. One thing I will say is, in terms of your pronunciation overall is really nice. Just one thing to be aware of is there's quite a few occasions when you've missed the final S sound. So the pronunciation of words like always, sometimes, you know, those final sounds. So I want you to spend some time to practice them. Also, in your part 1, overall, I really liked it. I would have liked you to have perhaps given a few examples in the past tense. So when we talked about your daily routine, talk about how last week I went to the gym because I am passionate about getting a body to die for. Yeah. So you can use examples in the past tense is nice as well.
In the part 1, Miss Trung and Miss Chính always tell me that it's a part 1 about the introduce myself. So you need to focus on the fluencies and don't have a loss of the information. And you need to have. I need to save it for the part 2 and part 3 because it the chance to show my vocab and the grammar.
Definitely. Fluency, of course, all of them are a focus, but fluency is definitely one of the most important for part 1 because it's kind of quick fire questions, So that's something to be aware of, Well, Hoàng, I want to say thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you today and I appreciate your time. Come on, and good luck with your exam. Okay. Thank you, well done.